So yeah, that's the cleaning I got done today. I think I got the most urgent stuff out of the way. But, you know, I'm trying not to overdo things. I'm like, okay, those things were enough. We dealt with the makeup, mostly. Yeah, got the perfume corner sorted. So I've just got to, like, chip away at it. Now, I've had a few bad days, I gotta be honest. So, not last night, but the night before, I had a pretty vivid dream about Hope. I think we're, like, somewhere Asian, or, like, maybe a Japanese, walking past a Japanese temple at some point, and then they went into, like, some restaurant area, and he's stealing someone's food. I never took him to any kind of restaurant, but there you go, there's dreams there. And yeah, waking up from that was pretty heavy, because, of course, he's not around. And I had a really bad day yesterday, and I made that artwork, though. I actually started it the day before, and then I finished it yesterday, and I think I'm getting a bit tired of my internet addiction, so maybe I'll do some more art. It's weird like that. Like, I go through phases. But yeah, that's a good thing to do, more art, I guess. I should try and do some more music at some point, but yeah, I gotta clean up all this stuff. But yeah, last night, so yesterday was a really difficult day. Like, I just felt sad the entire day, and it didn't lift at all. Then today, last night, I can't remember what I dreamed about, you know, for everything, but at the end of my dreams before I woke up was, like, my dream ended with the only appearance of Hope in last night's dream was him having a seizure, which was not nice to wake up to either. But I've managed to do a bit better today, because today's my cleaning day. Sunday is cleaning day. I do it regardless of how I feel, and I think it helps give me a sense of structure. And, you know, like, I am negotiable about it, but mainly if I have something else on. If I don't have anything on a Sunday, then I will try to do most of my cleaning. Usually if I don't do everything, it'll just be that I might not vacuum as much. I will vacuum my room, but usually I vacuum the rest of the downstairs common areas. So I don't do Mikey's room, and I don't do the downstairs bathroom. Like, I've got my own bathroom. I don't do the common bathroom, because I don't use it. But I do all the other rooms. Yeah, if I'm feeling really bad or if I'm really tired, I won't tend to do those. But I did them all today. I think maybe yesterday what also set things off is, like, I mean, we've had that big bed that Marley used to sleep on and that we said goodbye to Hope on, sort of back in its usual spot. But Dad's been, like, annoying about wanting to move it or get rid of it or whatever. And so he'd pushed it under I assume it was him, pushed it under the TV with the playmat thing. And, you know, after having that dream, I didn't really need to see that moved. And, like, my parents will do this. They'll move things without asking me. So another thing they moved, unrelated, is I have this umbrella that I use for my bonsai, you know, that big table, when it gets really hot. And this has been a weird summer, because there have been a few days where it got really hot, and that's why I brought that out from the shed. But then we've had a lot of days that haven't hit 30 in my area, so I haven't put that umbrella up, and I've just left it where I was keeping some other stuff, you know, just so that I don't have to keep going to the shed every time I need to put it up, but I haven't actually needed it that much. So I noticed my parents had moved it into this corner without asking me, because they never ask, hey, can we move this thing? They just move it, and they moved it somewhere where it gets rain, and this is, like, the umbrella in the instructions specifically says don't leave this in the rain, and they left it in the rain. And I'm just like, that's something that annoys me. Like, I get it, my stuff gets in the way sometimes, but just fucking ask. Fucking ask if you want to move it. There's no respect in that sense, and no regard for, you know, how my things need to be looked after. It's like, if I'm not keeping tabs on everything, just fucking move it, and I don't know where things have gone, or maybe they've thrown it out and think I won't notice. That pisses me off. yeah, so anyway, I didn't need that bed being moved. And then Mum did ask, can we wash it? Which is why I think it was Dad who moved it, not her. But, yeah, so I took all the toys off it and put them in the little beds. And then, yeah, so Mum's washed it, and now I put it in the other room. I don't really know what to do with it, though. But yeah, yesterday was a really bad day because of stuff. Anyway, yeah, today, I guess because I was actually doing stuff, like I'd had my shower earlier than I expected. I've been trying not to turn on my computer as early. Did I shower before turning on the computer? I think I did. I only turned on the computer when I started sorting all this stuff on the ground because, sorry, I know you can't even see my hand doing that and it just makes the camera shake. Yeah. No, I only turned the computer on because I wanted some music. But, like, you know, when I turn on the computer, I get distracted, so it's not always... I've been trying not to turn the computer on so much, and it helps that I'm not keeping my psychology diary anymore, because that, like, I can do it on my phone, but I hate typing on a touchscreen. So, yeah, I would always feel like I had to turn on the computer. So it's easier to not be addicted to the internet if I don't have to turn on the computer. So no psych diary has helped in that sense. But yeah, no, another factor, right, in terms of helping me clean up today is because of how bad yesterday was, I was really in a pretty dark place. You know, found it hard to stop crying at times and just, yeah, was in a really bad place. So it's made me wonder, like, am I wrong with this whole thing about, you know, I don't think I can handle another dog? Am I wrong about that? Like, maybe it's not so much that I can't handle one, but that, like, maybe I need some kind of, maybe not necessarily a dog, but some kind of animal beyond ants, because ants are just fascinating, but there's no connection there. Since losing hope, and especially this week, like, the only time I left the house was to go and check my P.O. box, because you guys send me stuff. That's the only time I left the house this week. That was on Monday. It's now Sunday. I don't know if I'll leave the house tomorrow. Whereas, you know, I used to walk Hope, which would at least get me out once a day. So, like, my exercise, I'm really doing shit for exercise. Like, I do my night stretches every night still, but it's not the same as, like, actually getting out and doing some exercise. And I'm running out of retail therapy. Like, there's a handful more makeup things I want to track down to try some more problem solving. But there's no urgency for me. And yeah, just a lot of my life has slowed down because, like, finally all the Christmas, New Year stuff has finished. With band stuff, I'm waiting for the guitarists to, you know, sort out what parts they're playing. I think that'll take some time. They've got to work out a lot of stuff. So there's not much for me to do with band stuff. I have put calls out for a drummer. We've only made contact really with one so far, though, and I'm waiting for him to listen to our stuff, decide if he likes it, before we can, you know, think about meeting. Like, we'd probably have to start a group chat. Then we think about meeting. Then we've got to find a place and have a jam and decide if we all like each other. And he might, you know, we could get lucky and he could be the perfect drummer to get started. Like, you know, when I got my old guitarist involved, he was a perfect fit. And I knew he'd be a perfect fit because I know how good he is at his instrument, you know, having worked with him before, and, you know, the right personality, not like one of these cowboy guys who thinks they're hot shit. He's like a decent guy. So that worked out straight away. We only, like, you know, once we decided it's time to get a new guitarist in, I was like, what about this guy? We had, like, originally tried to work with one of my friends, but I never, like, you know, I've only worked with her a really, really long time ago, and that band never went anywhere, and she seems really busy these days. So yeah, that's probably the only other guitarist we really looked at, but, like, once we didn't really need to sit down with her at that point. And then, yeah, I don't know if the other guitarist has had much contact with her, but no, with this guy, straight in. But with drummers, I don't know. It'll depend a lot on, first of all, whether he likes our stuff, and then personalities, and then whether he can pull off what we need. there's a lot of work to do there. And so I think until we find a drummer, there's just not going to be a whole lot for me to do. So I've just been, I haven't had many reasons to go out and about. The next, like, concrete reason for me to leave the house would be my first psychology session for the year. Finally getting that subsidized again. I used up my sessions so fast last year because I wasted it on that DID specialist who I realized was just trying to sign me up to EMDR and lock me into it. And, so this time, like, I'll have 10 decent sessions with my regular psychologist before I start paying full price again. But even, like, subsidized, it costs a lot, but whatever, it's fine. I can handle it. It's only every 2 weeks anyway. If it was weekly, I'd panic a bit more. But yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's helping that much, so I don't need it weekly, because what difference is it making? But yeah, so that's the next, I know I'm going on tangents, that's the next concrete reason for me to leave the house. I have considered going out earlier, but there's no pressing need. Like, yeah, I want to work out this makeup stuff, but it's not pressing. I'm not, like, I think the last flurry of it was to get ready for this event, my cousin's engagement. And then now I have nothing really. Like, there are a couple gigs I'm thinking of going to. Actually, speaking of gigs, I don't know if you guys are interested in this, but if I, every now and then did a video about, like, a new artist that you probably haven't heard of that I think you should know about, I've considered that a bit, because then that would force me to listen to more music, especially, like, local music. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you want me to do videos showcasing local musicians that you might not otherwise know about. Because I know sometimes when I've covered a local band or covered an unusual band, some of you will be like, oh, I never heard of them, but they're great. I'm going to check them out. So maybe if I not necessarily cover them because I'm still trying to dig out my microphone, but, just, did hey, check this artist out. Let me know if you're interested in that. But anyway, no, I just don't have any pressing needs. Like, even with those gigs that I'm thinking of attending, I haven't bought tickets, so I'm not locked in because I don't know if I can commit. But yeah, I don't know. I have the stuff that I need to wear to them anyway. So yeah, I just don't feel pressing need to do any retail therapy, which means I have even less reasons to go out and about. So yeah, that to come back to the dog thing or pet thing, or I don't know, probably dog, because dogs, you walk dogs. You don't really walk cats. Most people don't walk cats. You can, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with cats, mostly my ex's cat. He used to sit at the bottom of my music stand while I did my metal practice. He was pretty chill, but he was pretty old by then. Yeah, I don't know. But with dogs, they get me out of the house. They have that right sort of loyalty. But I don't know. I don't know if I can handle another dog. And there's so much about my life that I need to fix. But in terms of cleaning, I was thinking, like, with that whole mess and, like, plushies on the floor, that wouldn't go well with, like what I've done to my room is not conducive to dog ownership. So it's kind of like, well, I can't have one unless I clean up first. And so that kind of helped give me an extra reason to try cleaning. But I don't know. I was also just looking up, like, therapy dogs. But I don't think it would make a difference. I don't think they'd need to be, super well trained or anything. Because I know how to train dogs myself. And I've even, like, watched a lot of YouTube about how to train problem dogs despite not having a problem dog. But I got into that because Hope's anxiety was making it hard to walk him. He just pulls so hard on the lead. So yeah, I worked out a way using things I'd seen online. I adapted it for his issues because some of them are too strict. So I came up with a way where he the lead runs from this hand behind my body, and then he would always be on this side of me. And that gave him enough security to feel like the lead was tight, but keep him close to me and keep him not pulling. I don't know why that made him feel like he didn't have to pull anymore, but it worked. Yeah, so I've done, like, you know, dog behavior is so easy. Humans don't make sense at all. They're full of weird motivations, whereas dogs, just dogs, and you don't have to worry about bullshit. Like, there are some weird things that happen with them, but once you get on top of it, I don't know, I think I'm also pretty good at reading dog body language and signs and so on, because I'd notice stuff and people would be like, how do you know that? I'm like, because it's obvious to me, but whatever. No, I guess I'm just questioning that. I think I need to see how my life goes for a bit though. But I don't know, maybe just the idea of opening that door is enough for now. Just because, yeah, I'm struggling, and my parents they've gotten better in some ways, but, you know, like I said about the dog bed and my umbrella, there are times where they just fall back into old habits of not fucking asking me about my stuff. You know, the things that they take for granted about my life, that they can just do all that and not consider that. Also, like, yesterday was the bad day. The day before that, I think that was the day, that was, you know, I was trying to make breakfast. My appetite's been low pretty much ever since Hope got sick. My appetite's been fucked, and I am losing weight. It's not good, but I try to have breakfast. But he was watching this show about parasites, and it was disgusting. And I think I was also like, I have not been sleeping well. When I don't sleep well, it's hard. My mood is more likely to be fucked up. And yeah, he was watching this horrible show, and even when I pointed it out, he just kept watching it and ignoring me. And I was emotional, like I was crying a little bit as well, and he just didn't even notice, like audibly sniffling and all that, and he just didn't notice. And I'm just like, And then yesterday, you know, when Mum asked me about the bed, like I'd seen it pushed under that table, and then Mum also asked me, like I was already sad, and then when she asked me about cleaning it, because, you know, we talked previously about cleaning it, so it's not out of the blue, but yeah, when I cleaned all the, like, you know, took all the toys out and rearranged them into the other ones and then handed it over to her, you know, I was getting emotional again, and she finally noticed that I was upset. Dad had been at the computer. He didn't look up, but he registered that I was upset. And their response was just to ask, is there anything we can do? No one hugged me, which I've told them before is like the basic thing that you do when someone's upset. That's my parents. So like, is there anything that they can do? Sure. Like I could have asked for a hug, but I wasn't feeling it because I was just sensing that, you know, the way they are, it's not comforting in that way when you have to ask like that. Do you know what I mean? So I just didn't bother. Because it's like, what can they do? It's not like that they can do it. Like, what can they do? They can't comfort me. So why ask for it? Yeah. So, like, you know, I mean, I messaged my brother, you know, not Mikey, Dave, and he visited today, and he did hug me, and I didn't have to ask, he just did it, and he also, you know, without me having to say anything, you know, because I've been cleaning and all that, I was sort of, like, preoccupied, and I showed him all my cleaning stuff, and, was able to be energetic about it, and, you know, in front of my parents, I just don't need to cause a scene. But as he was leaving and they were, you know, walking to the door first, he like quick gave me a hug and sort of gave me one of those looks that he knows what I'm going through. Yeah, so he's comforting, my parents aren't. Yeah, and I guess I just sort of think about that situation because Dave's moved out, right? So it's just my parents, Mikey, and me, and my aunts. And since I haven't won the lottery yet, like I've won I think the most I won was about $20. I need to win a few million. Since I haven't won a few million, and Mad Simple still hasn't sent me 10 million, I can't get myself a place to be away from all this stress here. I don't know, maybe to survive living in this situation. Like, yeah, my parents, they're trying, but it's not enough. Maybe I need some kind of companion animal of sufficient intelligence, probably a dog. I don't know. That's why I'm sort of like, maybe I need to open that door and not be so, like, yeah, it's really painful to go through that level of connection. You know, I mentioned previously in other videos that connection and losing it, I didn't want to go through that again. But maybe that's not really a choice. Like, maybe that's how I survive, because a lot of the time I do. Sorry, I'm just going to bring it closer, even though it's going to make my face really big because I just can't hold the phone that far anymore. Yeah, I've had some pretty bad thoughts. You know, like, it's a kind of a mixed bag, because if I have an animal I have to look after, it means, on the one hand, it means that I can't kill myself. On the other hand, it means that I can't kill myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, yeah, it keeps me alive, but also it makes me feel pressured to stay alive, if that makes sense. And I guess I haven't decided what's better. So, I mean, really, talking like that should probably make it kind of obvious. Sorry, here I go getting upset. Talking like that should probably make it obvious that I probably should have something to look after so that I stay. But I would be choosing that. Which would make it harder to not stay. There's a few more things though. You know, like if I do get going with more music stuff, logistically, you know, if we're doing gigs a lot, with the therapy dogs thing, right, looking it up, they want you to be home a lot. Their dogs, they're saying, aren't conditioned to be left alone. Now, my parents are retired, so they're around a lot, but they're still, that's another thing today, is that they haven't told me, but overhearing what they're talking about, I think they're organising yet another holiday. And they're already going on one this year where it's just going to be me and Mikey at home, and they're getting carers in, but it's super stressful for me because I feel like the assumption is if anything goes wrong with carers or him or whatever, that I'm going to have to make decisions or, you know, step up, which I can't fucking handle that. I'm having enough trouble dealing with my own life. And, you know, with the trauma, the cat's out of the bag on that, I can't close that can of worms anymore. So, you know, the feeling of being expected to do that is a lot. You know, I don't know, like they're not keeping me up to date with their plans either. Yeah. And like, you know, I don't have a dog now, so I could go on a holiday too. Never occurs to them to take me anywhere. Not that I'd necessarily want to go, but like the offer's not made, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, back to the dog thing. If I had a dog, then I'd have to figure out what do I do when I'm not around. And, you know, ideally you would condition the dog to not be too attached to me, but because I'm home all the time, like I noticed even with my Labrador Ally, my first Labrador, when we got her, I was at school, and so we didn't really connect until after I graduated high school and then went to uni and then dropped out and was home a lot. And that happened for a fair bit after that. Is I would try to go to uni and then drop out and then sort of just work casually. So once I started spending more time at home, we did start to connect more, you know, towards the end of her life, right? So because I'm home a lot, and I think that's like with Hope as well, I mean, you know, we set him up to connect with me mainly because he always slept in my room, although he wandered in and out. But, you know, because I was home a lot, he did get very attached to me. And when I got really badly depressed and I wasn't even doing much, like I didn't go to work, there was a period of time there where I think I was not going to work and not doing uni. And then even when I went to uni, it was only like 2 or 3 days a week. I was in bed a lot. And so, you know, they get really attached to you when you're home. And then after I graduated uni, home a lot, didn't work much, maybe once a week. So I can see that if I did get a dog, they'd be super attached to me. So if I had to go anywhere, there's that to worry about. I guess it would depend on the breed of dog, you know, how well they would handle it. And then there's also like, you know, my parents don't want another dog. I know I have a trump card though, because if they get up my butt about it, I could say something like, you know, if it was Mikey who needed the dog to survive, they wouldn't think twice. I don't want to have to use that though. I can see the arguments coming already if I suggest the whole dog thing. So there's that. And, you know, I think I would have to step up more and, you know, look after the dog better as well. You know, for example, poo in the garden towards the end of Hope's life, I just wasn't doing that. Because I was doing so badly though. But yeah, I don't know. And then with the therapy dogs thing, so the therapy dogs, they're like they were training to be guide dogs and they failed the test, so then they're retrained as therapy dogs. Yeah, that thing is like, yeah, they don't want to be left alone for more than 4 hours at a time. You have to go and like give them exercise for an hour. With Hope, I was only like taking him on 15-minute walks. But those little dogs, because they're so bouncy, they don't really need a huge amount of exercise. Maybe I should go for something that needs more exercise so that I actually fucking get out of the house more. But I don't know. It really depends on how I go in the next few months, how things go with the band, whether I get my solo project going, whether I can clean my room well enough. I think just like psychologically, opening the door on the idea might help me for a bit. Like the idea of preparing for one. Like I said, with cleaning this stuff, I have to clean this stuff if I want to bring a new animal into my life. But I don't know, because it was pretty painful going through all that. Although, like, you get a good 10 years with a healthy dog. So, like, that's a lot of good times and a lot of love before you have to say goodbye. And, you know, Hope also got me through my Labrador's death. Because, like, I really bonded with her towards the end, and then I wasn't coping with not having a dog anymore, because Max had gone the year before. And yeah, so Hope actually helped me get through that. And it's not that, like, a dog, like, the new dog replaces the old dog, because they're all so different, but it's sort of like the new dog helps you cope with losing the old dog. I don't know. Anyway, so I know that's a bit of a ramble and a bit of a tangent, but it's relevant to how I motivated myself to clean today and just thinking about where I'm at. And I know I haven't done a lot of like regular vlogs lately. That's been on my mind because I'm not doing well. You know, now that the novelty of the makeup's worn off, I don't have much going on. Yeah, I'm not doing well. It's like everything in my life, all the things that I do, they're just band-aids. Nothing ever fills the deep emptiness in my core. So, yeah, I'm constantly looking for distractions and just nothing works. Anyway, this is going to be a fucking long vlog when I edit it together, so I better stop. Yeah, I'll just stop. Bye!